These are the top 20 hottest tools that you're going to find at Home Depot right now, including this RYOBI tool that's so viral they can't keep it in stock. You're going to be surprised by this one. If you'd like to check out any of these tools that I show today, click that View Products button right here on YouTube. It's the easiest way to shop. Or you could use the description, the pinned comment, and for my TV viewers, the QR code. Now, let's go. We've got something for everybody on this list. And first off, this is for everybody. This is a Milwaukee FastBack. Probably my most used tool that I've ever bought. This thing, always in my pocket and always useful. First and foremost, it's a utility knife. So if you need to open boxes or just use it for a knife, you can do that. And it does have a wire stripper built in, which is also a really cool feature. Changing the blade, very simple. You just push the button, pull the blade out, flip it around, you're back in business. It also has some onboard storage for extra blades should you need that. One of the most useful features, I think, is the screwdriver that's built in. It flips out, it locks into place. The fact that it locks in place is the most useful thing about it because now it won't collapse on you when you're trying to do screwdriver things. This does have a Phillips and it will flip around for a flathead. Has a really nice belt clip on it. It stays in my pocket right there all the time. It's one of the best tools you can buy no matter what tool brand you like. But if you just bleed yellow, then you got to check this out. This is DeWALT's 3-piece chisel set. I was a little skeptical when I got these, thinking they were going to be kind of cheap and not that great. But I was very surprised at what you're getting for this price. Now, they're not a $250 set of chisels. But if you're a beginner or you just want to add an extra set of chisels to the shop, these are really nice. Really nice rubberized grip. I like that it has a little thumb placement there. That makes it very handy. And they come in 3 sizes. You get a 1/2 inch, a 3/4, and a 1-inch chisel. Out of the box, they're fairly sharp. But if you do have a sharpener, you can get them razor sharp. Now, this is my favorite chisel sharpener that I've ever purchased. It's very easy to use. You're just going to swipe it back and forth with these diamond stones a few times. I got a whole video on how to use it. I won't go into detail. I'll link it in the description. But it's very easy to sharpen chisels, even if you've never done it before. And you can get a razor sharp edge on these DeWALT chisels that create those nice wispy curls. For the price of these 3 chisels, it's going to be hard to beat this. Next on the list is this big boy right here. This is the Grizzly 15-inch planer. This is one of the hottest tools that you're going to find at Home Depot right now. The freight driver told me they're delivering multiples of these a month. They're selling a bunch of them, and I see why. I put this through the paces in a previous video if you want to go check out the full review, but the highlight overview here is the fact that this is a 15-inch benchtop planer. Now, this thing is quite heavy, so you're not going to be moving it around from off the bench to on the bench, but it does have a lot of features that you're not going to find in this price range. First and foremost, a 15-inch wide cutter capacity, and the cutter is a spiral head cutter, so you're getting a really nice finish on most of your boards. It does have a built-in digital readout display. While I think it should be a little bit better, it is readable, but it just doesn't come across on camera as well as it does in real life. It also has one of the best depth gauges that I've seen, other than on the DeWALT, which we'll talk about. No matter where you place the board when you start feeding it in, it will show you exactly how much, or at least approximately how much you're going to take off. This machine also has 2 speeds. It's also 120 volt with a caveat. You can plug it into most outlets. Your outlet just has to have the 520 plug. The left prong is horizontal versus regular vertical, but it will work on 120 volt. I've run it several times here. You also get a nice roller head on top to pass boards back and forth, and it does have a nice turret-style depth stop with some preset depths of common sizes like 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch, and I think even 3/16. Overall, it's going to be very hard to find a planer with this many features, this wide of a cutter capacity, and of course running on 120 volt, which most of us have in the shop at this price range. Most planers 15 inches and up are going to cost you at least $2,000 or more. This one comes in way under that. But if this planer is too big for your shop, maybe you should check out one of the other hottest selling planers on Home Depot, and that's the DeWALT DW735X. I've had one since 2017. It is a workhorse, and it's going to be very hard to dethrone that as the best benchtop planer on the market, especially at the price range it's at. It's under $700. You're getting 13 inches of cutting capacity. You also get that very nice depth cutting gauge on that DeWALT that is equal to this one, if not even a little bit better. You're getting the 2-speed motor. It also is 120 volt that'll plug into any standard outlet and any cord. Comes with in-feed and out-feed tables if you get the DW735X version. It has positive depth stops built in. It's one of the best planers on the market and has been for decades now, and it's easy to see why it's one of the hottest selling tools at Home Depot. Next up, Home Depot is the place to buy RYOBI tools, and here are some top picks that I have used that I think are probably some of the best hidden gems on the market on any tool line. First and foremost, the RYOBI One HP, that's a lot to say, router. I love this router. I think it's one of the best routers that you can buy for trim routing. It fits in the hand so nice. It's very ergonomic. It's also plenty powerful to do anything you're going to need to do in the shop. Has a very nice micro adjustment. I love the micro adjustment on here. You can dial in the exact depth that you're going to need. This is also a variable speed router. Has some nice LEDs underneath so you can see what you're doing. Overall, just one of the best trim routers that you're going to be able to find, especially when you pair it with the Edge batteries. If you don't have any of these RYOBI Edge batteries yet, I implore you to check them out. They make a huge difference in all of your RYOBI tools, no matter if they're older or the newer versions. You're going to get much better battery life out of these versus the standard batteries, and even better than the HP line of batteries, and it does deliver more power. We've tested this with several different tools and it's proven true every single time. These are really nice batteries. And if you have a router and you're just starting out, they have a really nice beginner set of router bits. It's going to give you basically all the sizes and profiles that you're going to need for various tasks in routing, like roundovers, chamfers, even some edge profiles, straight bits. There's a lot going on here. They actually have a different package than the one I have now, but it's the same bit set overall. So if you're looking to grab some just to have an extra set, or if you're just starting out, like I said, this is a really good beginner set. And if you watch this channel at all, you know I love the barrel grip jigsaw. It's one of my favorite jigsaws on the market. This thing is awesome. First and foremost, it gives really nice clean cuts. It also is very easy to turn. In other words, when you're making curve cuts, things like that, it just works so well. This is variable speed, has different oscillation settings, so the blade oscillation can be nothing, or it could actually oscillate for faster cuts. Toolless blade changes, has a blower built in, a non-marring base. Overall, one of the best tools RYOBI has released in the last couple of years. I love this thing. If you're a RIDGID fan, RIDGID also has a barrel grip jigsaw that's equally as nice. It's fantastic. It works very similar to the RYOBI. It's hard to beat either one of these, just depends on which battery platform you're in. Last but not least, one of my favorite RYOBI tools is their new-ish, it's been out for about a year or so, One HP brushless drill. It's a hammer drill, so you can do masonry work, but for the most part in woodworking or around the house, this is a fantastic drill. It has 22 different torque settings. This little knob on top depends on how much torque you need. It also has the regular drill and then of course the hammer. This is a 2-speed drill with that switch on top, and paired with that Edge battery, you're getting a winning combo. Now there is an accessory they come out with last year that really helps this thing out, especially if you're using this around the house or even in the shop. It's called the RYOBI rail system. It's like a drill shelf. Gives you a really nice little fold down shelf here that you can stick in screws or bits, and it's magnetic so it holds them in. So if you're on a ladder, if you're working up somewhere and you don't want to run up and down the ladder, you can just throw some screws or bits in there. And then it has a bit holder on the side that also has a little magnetic strip to throw an extra bit on there or a screw, and then different size bits you can stick in there. Overall, it's a pretty cool little accessory for any RYOBI drill. Next up, one of the hottest tools at Home Depot right now is the Milwaukee dust extractor. This is a dual power dust extractor. In other words, you can use it on M18 batteries, or you can plug this thing into a standard wall outlet. As stated, you can put regular M18 batteries in there. They recommend the 12.0 Forge batteries. I didn't only have one Forge, but it still works with two 12 amp hour batteries. Works extremely well. There is a difference in CFM suction power on batteries versus plugged in. When it's plugged in, this thing has way more suction power than my Festool dust extractors by a lot. You can even hear it like whistle when it's pulling air through the hose. It's pretty impressive. It also has built-in pack out on top, so if you already have pack out storage, you can put some extra parts and pieces up there. It has a really nice hose carrier built in, so everything just wraps up. Now this is a dust extractor, which means you can adjust the suction power. So if I don't need that massive suction power, I can dial that down, so if I'm sanding something, it's not going to pull my sander down onto the wood. But if I want to clean up around the shop, I can max this dude out and be in business. This also has vac link, so it'll automatically pair to some of your tools if they have that built in. And it does have automatic filter cleaning. And speaking of filters, this does have HEPA filtration built in back here in the trunk. Oh, I thought it was kind of neat. You just pop the trunk, dual HEPA filters back there. This thing is just overall very, very impressive, and I think worth every penny if you're looking for a very good dust extractor. Talked about the RYOBI router earlier, but my favorite trim router that I own is the Milwaukee M18 trim router. This is the one that I grab most. I have a bunch of trim routers. This is my go-to. I like the other ones. I love this one for a few reasons. First and foremost, I love the dial on this. It's very similar to the RYOBI. I think this one fits in my hand slightly better. Overall, I just like the form factor of this one. This is also variable speed, runs on M18 batteries, and it's one of the best tools Milwaukee makes, in my opinion. And speaking of Milwaukee tools that are hot at Home Depot, you got to check out the Milwaukee M18 Track Saw. If you don't own a track saw and you've been thinking about it, this is one of the best you can buy. I put this up against some of the best in the business. It come out as one of my top picks because it is so good. Plenty of power, has variable speed, cordless, runs on the M18 platform. The dust collection is very good. It's just an overall very, very good track saw, especially at the price, and you can get a lot of good combos at Home Depot that are actually exclusive combos. In other words, it has a track, the batteries, the pack out, and the actual saw all into one combo. It's a very, very good saw. And speaking of track saws, if you don't want to enter a battery platform or you want one of the best track saws on the market, you got to check out the Makita corded track saw. You can get this with the track at Home Depot. It's one of the hottest things you can buy at Home Depot, in my opinion, because it is so useful and you're not locked into a battery platform. This also made one of my top picks for track saws. If you're in the market, you got to check out the Makita corded track saw. And the last Milwaukee tool that's hot at Home Depot are the Milwaukee driver bits. There's a bunch to choose from there, like a bunch, depending on what you need in a kit. This is one of the most well-rounded ones that I own from Milwaukee, and it has drill bits, driver bits, and then a bunch of little extra bits as well in a nice little case. This is one of those I keep up with, actually. I put them back when I'm done. A lot of times I have drill bits and driver bits all scattered around the shop, but I like having one I can just take with me if I need to go somewhere and do a project for a kid at their house, or go in the house and do something. I like having a nice little kit like this, and this is one of those that are just no-brainers. Next up, one of the hottest tools you can get at Home Depot is this little set of gear wrench stubby ratcheting wrenches. The boxed end actually has a ratchet on one end, and depending on which way you turn it, of course, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. And the other side's a open end, so you can use it like a regular open end wrench. I love these things. I used these last week to take the battery off my daughter's car. It's in like it's a little Honda car. Battery's all up in a little tight spot, and I couldn't really get to the little nuts to take the terminal thing off. I was able to take it off very easily. I use these all the time to put tools together, to do stuff around the house. And for the price of this little set, it's a must-have in my opinion. It has metric and imperial, so you can kind of cover your both bases there, especially for smaller bolts and nuts, things like that. It's just awesome. Oh, and it does come in this little case. So that's it. There's a lot of RIDGID fans out there. Comment RIDGID below if you are a fan of RIDGID tools. I showed you the jigsaw, but I haven't showed you this. This is also a very, very good router if you're in the RIDGID battery platform and you want a nice router. This micro adjustment to let you dial in the perfect depth is almost exactly like the RYOBI and the Milwaukee. Why would that be? So you can just dial the exact depth that you're going to want. Has a nice soft start and a hard stop or break on it. Not hard stop, but it breaks very fast so the bit doesn't just keep spinning. Very easy to adjust. Very good dust collection on this, and it is also variable speed. Has the LEDs. Overall, one of the better trim routers out there. RIDGID also just released in the last year, not this, stop looking at this, their sander. It's a cordless sander, like everybody else and their mama last year released a cordless sander. RIDGID did a very good job with theirs. It's not overly off balance or anything like that. It does a very nice job with regular sanding tasks. It uses their 18-volt batteries, so if you already have those, you're in business. 6-inch sander, so you're getting bigger sanding surface. Overall, it's a really nice sander if you're in the market. Now this actually won a Power Tool Innovation Award for being one of the best work lights you can buy, and I believe it. This is one of my most used lights around the shop or the house if the power goes out or anything. Has a nice little hook to hang it up. 360-degree light, so it's almost like having a lantern. Remember those back in the day? We had one of those kerosene type lanterns. You probably know what I'm talking about. This has 3 brightnesses, low, medium, and high, but it also has a couple of different modes where you can only shine the front, you can only shine the back, or you can shine all the way 360 around. Depends on how you need that light. Overall, fantastic offering from RIDGID here. If you're in the market for a table saw, this is one of my favorite small table saws. I have a big cabinet saw, but I use this one all the time for a lot of different reasons. Maybe I just need to take it out back, work on something on the deck. It's just portable, and I like the fact that it's portable. This is an 8 1/4 saw, so if you're in a small shop, this might be the way to go to save that space. It's dead accurate. That's one of the things I love most about it. It has a really nice rack and pinion fence on it, so you're always gonna know that you got a really good square or perfect cut when you're making your cuts. It has plenty of power to cut through anything that you're going to be able to cut through with an 8 1/4 blade. It's also fairly lightweight. I've got a little extra weight on here with some fence adapters I'll tell you about, but overall without those on there, it's even lighter. You can move this around very easily, so if you're taking stuff in and out of the shop to get your work done, this might be the way to go. I think this is one of the best tools that DeWALT makes. I bought this a couple of years ago and have been nothing short of impressed with it. You can add to the functionality of this with a couple of different ways. It's not sold at Home Depot, but I'll link to them in the description. First up, these Jessam stock guides on here are a very nice little upgrade. They bolt right down to the existing fence, so you're not losing any functionality there. But what they do is prevent kickback and give you more accurate results, especially when you're cutting like sheet goods, plywoods, things like that, because the rollers are tilted at a 5-degree angle and push your stock toward the fence. It's a really nice little upgrade if you're in the market for it. And of course, no table saw is complete, in my opinion, without one of the best safety devices ever invented. This is the Micro Jig Gripper, and it is one of the hottest tools on Home Depot because it's one of the safest tools at Home Depot, in my opinion. First, it's just a genius idea. You can use this to rip small, thin strips. This thing keeps your fingers away from the blade. Nice grippy bottom to help grip the stock, hence the name gripper, as you push through the cut. It also has a little leg that drops down that allows you to adapt to different size stock. So if you're cutting 2-inch thick pieces, this will help you keep that nice balance on there. It also has a movable leg in the middle. In this newest version, they've added a window up top to let you see exactly where the leg is on the bottom so you don't accidentally cut that. And the price of this new version didn't go up. In other words, they added features and they didn't increase the price, which is always nice. And to go along with your table saw, you need a very good miter gauge, and this is one of them that you can get at Home Depot. This is the Win miter gauge. It is my favorite miter gauge, especially at this price right now at the time of this filming, around $60. It's going to be very difficult to beat that on a miter gauge that is this accurate. I love this miter gauge. It looks just like my previous favorite miter gauge, which was the Anchor V27. And the only reason I say previous favorite is because it's more expensive by about $20, $25. This one is less expensive and looks very, very similar, but it does add a little extra. First, this nice knurled knob up top. It's very nice, almost like brass-like. It also has one back here on the fine adjustment, and the adjustments on this is extremely nice. Nice gear-like feature, so when you turn it, you can lock it in to any degree that you want between 0 and 60, both right and left. This will fit on this table saw, on this DeWALT table saw, or any other standard 3/4-inch slot saw, and it has a really nice lining on the bottom so it doesn't scratch up the top if you have cast iron or anything like that. Overall, one of the best values, hottest things you can get right now. This is one of the most viral tools from RYOBI in recent months. They can't keep them in stock. They keep selling out, and for good reason. Even if you're not a RYOBI fan, you should probably check this out. This is the RYOBI Automotive Pressure Washer, and of course you don't have to just use it on a vehicle. This thing is wildly useful for around the house. Maybe you want to clean your deck or the driveway or your car. You can do that with this. For the price of what you're paying for this, you're getting a lot. 1200 PSI. It also plugs into any outlet that you have, any standard 120 volt outlet, so you don't have to have a battery or anything like that. Comes with 3 different size tips, 15, 25, and 40 degrees. Of course, the more narrow, so the 15 degree, more strong pressure you're gonna get. So if you wanna wash off bugs, things like that off your vehicle, the 15 is probably the way to go. And speaking of the nozzle, this nozzle is really nice. Very quick nozzle changes. All you do is pull back on the little brass tab, pull that nozzle out, and put the new one on. So you can change those very quickly, or even the foamer bucket will do the same thing. You can connect those in there very easily. And this nozzle has a very, very long hose on it, so you'll be able to work around your vehicle or the driveway or whatever you need. It also comes with a nice foamer bucket, so you can put your soap in there, connect it to your nozzle, and then be able to sud things up with soap or cleaner or whatever you're using. And turning it on and off, very easy. On-off button. It's very simple. And it's extremely compact, so storing this is going to be very easy. RYOBI sent this to me a few months ago to check it out, and I can see why it is so viral. It's going to be very useful. If you like this video, you got to check out the top 20 hottest tools at Lowe's right now. Click in that box, get you the big old virtual fist bump. Seriously, don't miss those.